We're staying in the energy sector, and the Volta River Authority has attributed the unannounced power outages to maintenance work on the West Africa gas pipeline. The head of corporate affairs, Samuel Fletcher, maintained until adequate investment is made in the sector, the situation will persist.
The country, since the beginning of the year, has gone through a series of load-shedding exercise. The situation seems unending as it has increased in the past week.
I don't think anybody ever announced load shedding was over. Today, we've had some deficit as a result of gas challenges we were having from Nigeria. We're having low gas pressures as a result of some repair works on the West African gas pipeline.
Water level at the Akonsombo Dam has remained stable for the past 3 days.
By now, we should be seeing a good rise. In fact, so we should have actually started rising in the month of August. That didn't happen. We are seeing the initial stability in September. It means that it is obvious that it's too late for a rise. We haven't had that urgent reason to shut down any machine, but at some point, given that we are seeing this rise late, at some point we might have to ask for either one machine or 2 units to shut down.
The head of corporate affairs at VRA, Samuel Fletcher, explained the load-shedding exercise will continue until enough investment is made in the sector.
I'm aware that Bui is not running. I'm also aware that Senate is not running. VRA plant in Tema is doing a part load. If we have the reserve margin that we deserve, I tell you what, that's the only way to get out of load shedding.
The demand of electricity is estimated at 2,100 megawatts of power, while supply is at 1,800, a deficit of about 200 megawatts. Supply of gas from Nigeria has also fluctuated in the year, contributing to the power crisis. The Atuabu gas processing plant, which will supply VRA an amount of 120 million standard feet, has not been able to meet its completion date. It seems the country will have to brace itself for unannounced power outages, as the Electricity Company of Ghana has also not been able to provide a load-shedding guide for consumers.
So you heard the VRA will go to the regulators as well for them to tell us if there is a possible timetable that perhaps we're not aware of. Nana Yajantwa is the Communications Director for the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, and she joins me on the phone line. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. First of all, do we have any load shedding timetable that we're working with?
No. What is currently going on is an issue of the deficiency in generation, and also the fact that we don't have a reserve margin. Once we don't have a reserve margin, whenever there is any system disturbance, or maybe a plant has to go down for mandatory maintenance, or there is a fault somewhere on one of the plants, then we have a problem. With that kind of a situation, or even if gas that is expected from the West Africa gas pipeline, the volumes reduce. For instance, West Africa gas pipeline has to give us 70 million standard cubic feet, and they tell you that they can't give 70 million, they can give 30 million. In that case, you have only Asobli running. The other gas plants cannot run. And certainly when there is not adequate generation, you find that there is a shortfall. And when there is a shortfall, there will be some outages in the system. And that is what is currently happening.
Okay.
So, for instance, if a plant is going down for maintenance for 3 days, you can't put a schedule to it. If a plant has a capacity of this, let's say 100 megawatts, and it's going up for maybe 3 days, it will come back within 3 days. But within that period that is going for mandatory maintenance, then it means that there should be some form of curtailment in the system, because you already lost some amount of electricity.
All right. You're giving an elaborate reasons that obviously makes it difficult to draw a timetable. In other words, people should just psych themselves up that there could be seldom interruption of power.
I cannot say I cannot say categorically that there will be curtailment, frequent curtailment. You see, what we were seeing before, we could see a total of 483 megawatts out of the system. I believe what is happening now, we are not seeing that kind of quantum. We also will recall that for the past 3 months there has been some kind of stability. Most of these plants that are running, they need to go for mandatory maintenance between a certain period. If you do not do the maintenance, then it breaks down. Right. For now, let's study the system and see how things are going. Our surest bet will be that we get gas flowing through Atuabo.
Okay.
Our own gas fields. And when the gas comes through Atuabo to Abuaze for generation, then we are sure that yes, we have adequate generation that will take us through. But even if there is any curtailment, it will not be much. But as it is now, we don't have a reserve. So anytime there's a system disturbance, anytime there is some form of maintenance, then we see some form of curtailment in the system.
All right, Nana Yajanto, thank you very much for joining us, and that's the Director of Communications for PURC. And when it becomes necessary that they give us a timetable, we'll have it. At the moment, we cannot, because already we are not meeting our energy demands. But once there are challenges with, of course, the issue of gas hasn't come in, VRA has its own problems, well, you should expect just a little bit of interruption, curtailment of power.